Time to break down a game that wasn't an awful lot of fun for fans to watch. Kelly, what did you hear from the guys in the locker room? What were they saying? What was the general mood?
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of fun for us to watch either, but it definitely wasn't fun for them to be playing it. Kyler Fackrell, I think, had the best quote. He said, "You're not embarrassed to be a Green Bay Packer, but what we did today was embarrassing," and that's on the defensive side of the ball. So for him to say that on the defensive side of the ball is a pretty big statement. I thought the defense played as well as you really could expect them to. They knew they were going to have to come in here and create plays, get good field position for an offense that has really, really struggled. So, I mean, that kind of says it all, that they were embarrassed by the performance they put on film today.
Well, in the defense, they only gave up 23 points, and some of that came at the very end. Really, it was more like 13 for most of the game. You expect a team, especially a Packers team, to be able to get on the board, to be able to win a contest like that. Even after those early turnovers, they only went into halftime down 6, but they could never get anything going in a sustained way. When you saw what was going on with Brett Hundley, he seemed to miss a lot of guys in the middle of the field on checkdowns and slants and things like that. Didn't seem like maybe perhaps he was mentally playing at the right speed. It seemed like he was always a little bit behind, and you saw that a lot on those rollouts. He'd roll right, he'd look, nothing there, and he would throw it out of bounds. They would never quite get anything going. But there were some bright spots. I thought Davante Adams played well. Did you see anything that you liked, whether it was from an individual or something other than just the defense, which played pretty well?
As soon as you said bright spots, my mind just went totally blank because I really can't think of a lot. They really came out so promising. That first drive, it was Jordy, I believe, that first catch, and then it was Davante. He seems to really like Davante as one of his targets, which is a good thing, but he's not connecting enough with him. Davante actually had my second favorite quote of the day, which I asked him, is it hard to hear the boos kind of raining down from the Packers fans, which a lot of them came down today in Lambeau? And he said, you know, Packers fans are a little bit spoiled. They've had Brett Favre, they've had Aaron Rodgers for a quarter century or so now. They've been very consistently good. They've put points on the board. There hasn't been a shutout loss like this in 11 years, literally. So I think that they're kind of noticing that the fans are unhappy. Obviously, they're not happy either. So I don't know where you go from here with that. But.
And it's not going to get any easier going into Pittsburgh. Davante Adams on the offense seems to be the one guy that they can really rely on. He's also a guy that they're going to have to decide whether or not to pay at the end of this year. I suspect he's going to be angling for a big money deal. But when you look at what's going to happen next week in Pittsburgh, I don't see it getting much better there. They've got another team that's going to put up a lot of points, and if they can't find a way to get into the end zone against that squad, zero's definitely not going to do it, but even 2023 might not be enough.
Yeah, Packers fans are, and the Packers, I don't think, are looking forward to this matchup, a Sunday night football matchup that at the beginning of the season looked like a really awesome game to go to, and that just has completely fallen by the wayside. Ben Roethlisberger had an amazing night, Thursday night football. I mean, the whole team looked incredible. To see that that's what the Packers are up against this week, they have a tall order this week.
The only good thing is, in football, you just don't know any given Sunday. It does seem to go up and down, especially this year in this specific league. So there's always a chance. But for right now, I think the general consensus amongst the fans is that it feels like things are slipping away a little bit. So they need to get something going, whether it's in the Pittsburgh game or the 2 games following, if there's going to be any chance for Mr. Rodgers to come back and play. From Lambeau Field, I'm Charlie Sokaitis with Kelly Price, keeping you connected for NBC 26.